Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be talking today about power leaks with actually any club in your bag.
Yeah, I think probably more seen with driver because it's the one we all want to hit far.
Yeah.
And it's, for a lot of people, the hardest club to hit, isn't it?
Sure.
On a consistent basis. So I think it's kind of shown a bit more with driver, particularly from a body perspective, because there's a bit more work to do.
Yeah. So we want to be thinking about 3 points. And Nat, if you stand to the golf ball here as you're going to hit towards me,
Okay.
just so you can go face on. I know it seems a bit strange because that is the hole.
Yeah.
But I want you to think about this and have a look at yourself. And what we need to do is compare this to what you're doing right now. I want you to think of some points. So the middle of your sternum, Nat,
Yep.
your belt buckle, and there's a point, let's say, in between your feet. Okay. Now, when you turn in the golf swing, we want these to feel like they're quite a bit on top of each other. Okay. Not moving off too much either way. And how I imagine that is, if we sort of had a circle around you here and you made a backswing for me, Nat, you would sort of stay in the confines of that backswing, right? And that circle. Brilliant. Whereas sway off for us now, do one more rep for us. Yeah, moving off, or then reverse spine towards target. These are all the things we're trying to avoid. So go back to the ball again, Nat. If you look at this, right? The circle, we're trying to keep our dots that we had on the start all in the similar position or as close to where they started as possible. Now with driver, there will be a little bit more spine tilt, so our upper dot will be a little bit behind our belt buckle, but we won't want to make that distance and separation any more than it is at the start. Okay, have another rep for me there, Nat. Brilliant. So that would be what I'd say backswing wise is how we could avoid that power leak. Trying to feel as best. So imagine this if I just jump in there, Nat. With driver, we've got those dots here, right? And our upper dot is slightly behind. With irons, I imagine they stay completely on top of each other. With driver, I set my upper dot slightly behind my belt buckle, and then I keep the same angle, I keep the same difference. I don't move off like we just illustrated. Okay, now let's go down target now, as if we're hitting this way, and get you to go all sorts of directions here, sorry.
I know.
And what we see commonly, and this is one of the biggest ones that people come for a lesson with me, and you must get it in the gym all the time, is, now, what can I do to stop early extending? Because it's one of them moves where we know we're throwing everything out this way, and no matter how much we try, we just can't stay in posture.
Yeah, this is a massive one for a lot of players, and for some people it's really pronounced, like it's really obvious they're like this, and for other golfers it's just that tiny bit of thrust of the pelvis coming forwards, but it's enough to throw you off rhythm, off momentum, and lose some club head speed as well. So as we're talking about posture, this is really the key thing. You know, we've mentioned in previous videos, you have to get the backswing good in order to help the downswing. So that has to be one of the key things like we've just mentioned here. But for me, from a physical perspective, one of the main issues is people struggling to rotate into this left hip here, like this. So their alternative is to come forwards, because that's the one way they can then get the club on the ball. Yeah. But also it comes from mainly a big lack of strength in the lower body and strength in the core, because it's our core that is protecting our spine and preventing these lifts and these changes of angles like this. So as we mentioned, the dots here and the dots staying roughly in line with where they start. Yeah. If I was to change my spinal angle, those dots extend, where really we want them to remain the same until you've hit the ball, and then there'd be a change.
So I think about like a plug socket really. I don't want to rip the plug socket out. I want to keep the
plugs in the socket the whole time until we've roughly come out of the shot.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's a big role of the core, is to maintain your spinal angle. So all you do is rotate around that angle, holding the pelvis back, rather than having to, as we said, sway off the ball, reverse spine this way. If I reverse spine this way, I have no choice but to then go back this way. Or lifting up. If I'm lifting up here, extending, that plug's come straight out the socket.
So what could be something, if you're watching this now, and people go, oh, Nat, what could I do at home to help me get the idea of keeping the plug sockets in on the way down, but also on the way back? Is there anything that people can do? You mentioned core. Is there anything you can do?
Obviously, there'd be a whole host of core exercises that we'd want people to take part in, because you know that's where we start to develop and build the strength. So even some basic things like a front plank, a side plank, they help you brace and understand what's working here. But what a little drill that I really like, and sometimes get clients to do in the gym as well, is put a belt on So obviously we've got light coloured trousers on today. If we put a dark belt on and then tuck our shirt in, there's a clear difference between lower and upper body. And what you're looking for is that as you rotate, you know, your belt sort of maintains parallel to the rib cage, that you don't see this gap appear between your belt and your sternum, or those two dots as we mentioned.
And then on the way down, the same thing.
Exactly the same on the way down. So using a mirror to help you see those angles. So all we're looking for is that if I turn, you know, my belt buckle is here, it's still roughly parallel to my sternum or my spine angle. It would be the same until I've hit that shot, and then, you know, I'm a little taller coming out of it from there.
So would you say something that people can do at home? Do it slowly, get the feeling of that movement. And I say this to golfers, just do these moves slowly to improve the quality of your move. And then all that is a progression of speed. Like, think about changing gears in a car. If you can't learn it at gear 1, you're not gonna be able to do it at gear 5. So have a go with that in the mirror, getting the feeling of the dots, and then that feeling of the plug staying in on the way down to really feel like you're staying in posture. Because look at this, Nat, right? If I stay in posture, that distance stays the same. As soon as I thrust, this gets bigger. So the rib cage comes away from that belt, and that's what we're saying here. And this is a great example of what we do at Off Scratch now, because we combine them both.
Exactly, these two things have to work together. You know, there will be a lot of players that you will teach that get frustrated because they don't feel like they're getting any better in the long run because there's some of these physical issues in their way. And then same on my side, I might have players that I've worked with who just need a really good golf lesson because physically they're a bit better, but they need to put it into practice. And that's what we do for you here, is helping you understand how your body works, the influence that has on your golf swing, and how you can improve it.
So thanks very much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn the bell. That way you get notified every single time we put up a video that really will help you improve your golf.